Hello friends, you are on the Home Tips channel. In this video I will show you a quick way to defrost your freezer. It will take only 10 minutes to get rid of all that ice and snow. Any refrigerator needs to be defrosted, even if you have a refrigerator with a no-frost system and there is no snow in the freezer. Only such refrigerators need to be defrosted once a year to clean them. If your freezer, like mine, gets covered in ice, then it definitely needs to be defrosted, and I'll tell you a little later how often and why this is necessary. So, the first thing you need to do is unplug the refrigerator. Next, you need to take care of the products that are in the freezer. You can put the products from the freezer into the refrigerator if there is space in it. If this is not an option for you, as it is not for me, then I suggest you do the following. Take a large container or basin and put all the products in it. I always try to defrost the refrigerator in December and May. I'll explain why. It's cold in December and you can put a basin of food in a cool place. In May, especially when it starts raining, the temperature drops, and at this temperature the food will also stay frozen longer. To keep food frozen longer, you can cover it with foil for thermal insulation. And if you don't want to buy anything, cover it with a blanket. When it is cold outside, it's enough to simply cover the food with kitchen towels. Look how much snow I have in my freezer drawers, but even a freezer like this can be defrosted quickly. Take out all the drawers, and now they need to be cleaned thoroughly. The best place to do this is in the bathtub. It won't be convenient in the kitchen sink. There is very little space and everything around you will be in water. And if you do everything carefully, so that there is no water around, you'll spend a lot of time. Another important point: before you start cleaning, let the drawers warm up to room temperature. So, rinse the drawers with cool water, apply dish soap to a damp sponge, and you are ready to clean. Plastic is very easy to scratch, so use only the soft side of the sponge for cleaning. Once you have washed the drawers, rinse them under running water and wipe them dry. Now let's go back to the freezer. While I was washing the drawers, the door was open and the ice started to melt little by little. To prevent water from flowing onto the floor, I always put a baking tray from the oven underneath. I have a recess like this in my freezer. As provided by the manufacturer, a special spatula is inserted here, along which the water should flow into the container that you put underneath. I don't have this spatula, so I take a damp cloth, put one end of the cloth in the recess, and lower the other into the baking tray. Well, now let's move on to the most important thing: how to quickly and easily defrost the freezer. There are several ways to do this. First, take a hairdryer, turn on maximum speed, maximum temperature, and warm up the freezer. Do not put the hairdryer directly into the freezer and be careful not to let water come into contact with it. Gradually the ice will start to melt and water will flow down. Therefore, I advise you to put some kind of container underneath. The second way to defrost a freezer is to use a container with warm water. Place a pot of water on each shelf. The water temperature should be 40 to 45 degrees Celsius, and change the water regularly as it cools down. The third way is to use a fan. Its advantage is that your participation is not required, so you can do this when you wash the drawers. Open the freezer door, install a fan opposite it, and turn on the most powerful mode. I had a pretty thick layer of ice in the freezer, and look how quickly everything started to melt. Let's now look at the question of how often you need to defrost your freezer. When we open the freezer and put food in it, moisture gets inside. It settles on the walls, on the drawers, and turns into ice. This can make it difficult to pull out the drawers. The more ice there is in the freezer, the more electricity it will use to maintain the set temperature. And based on this, everyone must decide for themselves how often they need to defrost the freezer. If it is hot and you often open the freezer, store a lot of food in it, the ice will freeze faster and you will need to defrost the freezer more often. Therefore, look, if you see that a lot of ice has frozen, it means it is time to defrost. When the ice becomes thin, you can scrape it off manually. A plastic card or plastic spatula works great for this. Never use a knife or other sharp metal objects to avoid damaging the freezer. Once you have completely removed the melted ice, take a clean cloth or towel and wipe the freezer dry. Then leave the freezer open for 5 minutes so that it dries out well and all the moisture evaporates. Then turn on the refrigerator, and when the temperature in the freezer drops to the set value, you can put the drawers back in place and put the food back. These are the useful tips on how to defrost a freezer that I wanted to share with you today. This method is quick and easy, so I am sure you'll succeed. If you liked the tips, like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all for watching. See you in other videos.